Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna, thank you for coming today. You guys came on a very, very special day. Today is Balaram Jayanti, otherwise known as Lord Balaram's appearance day. And who is Lord Balaram? Balaram is Lord Krishna's brother. So we're going to start off the program with Gora Arti. So I'm just going to ask everyone to please stand up and come closer. The doors are going to open, and that's when we're going to chant and dance as loud as we can for Lord Balaram. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, how are you doing? Good, and yourself? Good. Happy Balaram Jayanti. Where did he go?
Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Aroti Kasoba Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Aroti Kasoba Janavita Tavane Jagamanaloba Janavita Tavane Jagamanaloba Dakini Nitai Chan Pamega Dadara Dakini Nitai Chan Pamega Dadara Nikate Advaita Shrini Vasa Chatradara Nikate Advaita Shrini Vasa Chatradara Bosi Ache Gaura Chan Ratna Simhasane Bosi Ache Gaura Chan Ratna Simhasane Aroti Korena Brahma Adi Devagane Arati Korena Brahma Adi Devagane Nara Hari Adi Kori Chamaradulaya Nara Hari Adi Kori Chamaradulaya Sanjaya Mukunda Basu Goshadigaya Sanjaya Mukunda Basu Koshadigaya Sanka Baje Ganta Baje Baje Karatala Sanka Baje Ganta Baje Baje Karatala Madhura Mirdanga Baje Paramarasala Madhura Mirdanga Baje Paramarasala Sanka Baje Ganta Baje Madhur 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 Baje 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 Madhur 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 Baje Madhur 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 Baje Madhur 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 Baje Sanka Baje Ganta Baje Madhur 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 Baje Bahu Koti Chandrajini Bandana Ujvala Bahu Koti Chandrajini Bandana Ujvala Kala Dese Bana Mala Kore Jalamala Kala Dese Bana Mala Kore Jalamala Siva Sukha Narada Preme Gadaga Pakati vinoda dekhe Korara sampada Pakati vinoda dekhe Korara sampada Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvasesha Sunyavadi Prastata Desatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Namaste Narasingaya, Praladana Hiranyakashipu Raksha, Silatam Kanakalaye, Ito Nishingo Parato Nishingo, Yato Yato Yamitato Nishingo, Paher Nishingo, Idayer Nishingo, Narashingamadin Saranam Prapadin, Tavakara Kamalavane Nakama Bhutta Shingam, Talita Hiranyakashipu Tanyaringam, Keshavadita Nanahari Rupa, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare. Avakara Kamalavane Nakama Bhutta Shingam, Sarita Hiranyakashipu Tanyaringa Keshavadita Nanahari Rupa Jai Jagatisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Nashingadev, 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 Jaya Nashingadev. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivarkacharya Sutara Sata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivarkacharya Sutara Sata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Sadi Gora Bhaktavrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Kirchor Gopinath Ki. Shri Shri Gornitai Ki. Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Ki Jai. Lord Baladev Ki. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All together now. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvasesha Sunyavadi Prachata Desatarine. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. I would like to welcome all of you for the Balram Purnima festival. Shri Shri Balram Ji Ki. Request everyone to be seated and please move forward. If you can all move forward all the way and be seated. Everyone standing back, if you could all kindly settle down, please. Thank you. Welcome. We would like to welcome each and every one of you for today's festivities of Balram Purnima. Anybody here visiting us for the very first time? Show of hands. Okay, we have 1, 2, okay. 3, wonderful. Welcome. 4, oh, you're here as well. Thank you. So today is a very special and auspicious appearance of Sri Balram, who is the elder brother of none other than Krishna. And so today is Balramji's appearance day. And next week, that is the August 16th, is Sri Krishna's appearance day. So Sri Krishna Janmashtami ki. So we have back-to-back festivities with Balram Purnima today, followed by Krishna Janmashtami later. And so we've all gathered here to celebrate this auspicious occasion. And we'll be having a discourse starting in a few minutes until about 7:10, 7:15 p.m. And we'll be having some announcements after that about the upcoming festival of Krishna Janmashtami. And then Prasadam will be served later, with the last Aarti, the Shine Aarti, will be at 8 p.m. So today's discourse will be facilitated by Satyabhama Mataji. We can give a big round of applause to welcome Mataji. So we all know Satyabhama Mataji has been serving in our community for over 2 decades, and she's served our temple and the community in various capacities as a temple council member, part of the fundraising team, part of the festival fundraising campaign. And professionally, she's a radiologist, and she loves to teach and educate people. So professionally as well, she travels a lot. And for a community, she also teaches the Bhakti Shastri program. And whenever she gets chance, she speaks on festivals or Sunday feasts. So today, she's going to speak about the special appearance of Sri Balramji. And then we'll have some announcements later. So let's give a big round of applause once again to welcome Mataji.
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Loudly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So welcome to our very, favorite festival for all of us. This is a very important festival in the year that we like to celebrate, is the appearance of Lord Balaram, right? So I was asked to speak a little bit about the different pastimes or stories, as they're called, which are related to Lord Balram, and they all have a few teaching points. So I thought we'll just discuss like an overview of who Lord Balram is, how did he appear, and what does it mean for us in our day-to-day lives, and how can we apply the lessons from Balram's life and pastimes into, our present-day scenarios that we live day-to-day. So starting right at the beginning, this was a time when Devaki and Vasudeva were getting married, and Devaki had a cousin. His name was Kamsa, and they were very close. They were like cousins, but they were very close in their relationship. So Kamsa was actually driving the bride and the groom, which is Devaki and Vasudeva, in a chariot. And it was a very, very festive time. And suddenly there was like a sound from the heavens. We call it Akashvani, coming from the skies. And the Akashvani said to Kamsa, like, you're taking your sister and her husband in the chariot, but let me tell you something. I'm paraphrasing. This is not how the Akashvani spoke. I say, let me tell you something. The 8th son of your cousin, of Devaki, is going to be responsible for your death. And so Kamsa was like very shocked. Like this is something like, he was not expecting. And then he started to get doubts about what he should be doing. And then there's like a lot of discussion. He has discussion with his ministers and family, and everybody tells him, listen, you should just get rid of Devaki and her husband, because if they're not there, then the question of having 8 sons will not arise. But somewhere in Kamsa's heart, there was a little bit of attachment to Devaki. And so he comes up with an idea that, what can I do? And so at the time that he hears the Akashvani, he immediately pulls up his sword and catches Devaki by her hair. And so Vasudeva is trying to figure out, how can I solve this problem right now? Because there's not much time there. So he says, hang on, do one thing. I promise you that every child that is born, as soon as the child is born, we will hand it over to you. And then you can decide what you want to do with the child. You can kill it, keep it, or whatever. And so at that time, Kamsa feels, this is a good solution. So I don't have to kill Devaki. Yet, I'm sure that they will honor this arrangement of giving me every single child that is born. And so then the time passes, and he has discussion with all his ministers, and they are still cautioning him, Kamsa, this is not a good idea. It's better to just kill them right now. But anyways, he puts them in jail. And as time goes by, Vasudeva is also in jail with Devaki. Vasudeva has other queens. He sends them to, safe spaces, because he's going to be stuck in jail till at least 8 children are born, which is quite a substantial amount of time. And so the first child is born, and as promised, Kamsa shows up there. They hand over the child. Kamsa immediately kills the child. The second child is born, the third child is born, the fourth child is born, fifth and sixth. So all 6 sons are killed by Kamsa on day 1 of their birth. And it is said that these 6 sons actually represent qualities which are enemies of the mind. There's 6 enemies of the mind. And everything in our, the scriptural lessons, everything has a significance. So all of these 6 sons represent Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad and Matsar, which are the enemies of the mind. And what do they translate into English? Lust, anger, greed, attachment, arrogance, and envy. And so these are the 6 qualities which can take over your mind and make you a really bad person. And we are seeing it in the world right now. There's so much attachment, lust, anger, and we are seeing it in all different parts of the world. So these 6 sons that Kamsa killed represented the 6 enemies of the mind. And after the enemies of the mind are removed, then the 7th son is conceived. And this 7th son is actually Balaram. But what happens is, Balaram is an expansion of Krishna, is a direct expansion, Swamsa expansion. So he's non-different than Krishna. And so Krishna, through the potencies of Yogamaya, makes arrangement for this conception to be transferred into Rohini, who is also the wife of Vasudeva and is currently living with Nanda Maharaj in a remote village in Vrindavan and that area. And so this 7th conception, I mean, this is kind of not unheard of these days, right? We have so many advanced technologies. People are doing all kinds of IVF and this and that. So we know that embryos can be transferred. I mean, as a science student, as a physician, I know this is possible. It's not something unusual. But it was just the way it happened in this particular scenario is very mystical. So anyways, the embryo is transferred into the womb of Rohini, who's living somewhere else with Nanda Maharaj, who is a very close friend of Vasudeva. And it seems while Devaki is in the prison, it seems like she lost her 7th conception. And so Kamsa is like, okay, whatever, like, this was just a miscarriage. And so, but the 7th conception actually goes and is safe in the womb of Rohini. And Rohini actually carries that conception for a very long time. It's said that she was pregnant for about 14 months. So it was a very special pregnancy. And it was just going on. And meanwhile, Devaki conceived the 8th child, which was Krishna. And so this was happening simultaneously. In the jail, there's Krishna, and in the house of Nanda Maharaj, there is Rohini, who is carrying Balaram. And so Krishna and Balaram are actually, if you see it by the date of birth, like the time they were born, they're only 15 days apart. And even when we celebrate, like 2 weeks from now, we're going to be celebrating Janmashtami. So although Balaram was conceived earlier and there was all this embryo transfer happening, he was older than Krishna. So he's about 2 weeks older than Krishna, but his conception was much longer, right? And there are some variant stories where there's a lot of discussion about how much older is actually Balaram from Krishna. But this is what we know based on our scriptures. So Balaram was born to Rohini. Krishna, again, as we know, mystically, was exchanged. So Krishna was also, after being born immediately, we're not going to talk about Krishna because we have 2 weeks to talk about him still. He was also transferred to the house of Nanda Maharaj. So they both grew up together, Krishna and Balaram, and they were just like 15 days apart. So this was just how Balaram was born. And it is explained that after removing the enemies of the mind, lust, anger, greed, attachment, arrogance, we see so much arrogance in today's world. After removing all of this, Balaram appears and he just stays there for a short time and then is transferred out. But he creates an environment which allows Krishna to enter the womb of Devaki. And it is said that this is the role of Balaram. He represents, although he is Vishnu Tattva, because he is a direct expansion of Krishna, he represents Jiva Tattva, because he represents Guru. And so he is strongly associated with Guru Tattva. And the role of a bona fide Guru is to create an environment which allows Krishna to come into our hearts, into our lives. And so that is the most important relationship of Balaram to us, because he represents Guru Tattva for us. Balaram is the original Guru. His role is to teach us about Krishna, and he's the first person who teaches about Krishna and gives us details about how to serve Krishna. So that's the importance of having Balaram in our life as Guru. So the real business of a bona fide Guru is purifying the heart, and that is what Balaram does. He serves God, and not only that, he engages everybody, all of us, to serve Krishna. So after Krishna and Balaram are born and they are in Nanda Maharaja's house, so Vasudeva knows this because he is aware of all the details. So he calls his royal priest. What's the name of the royal priest? Loudly. Gargamuni. Yes, just checking that Vittal Bhakt is awake. So Gargamuni, he calls Gargamuni and says, you need to go to the house of Nanda Maharaj because we have to do the naming ceremony. It's an important samskara. So you have to go there and give them proper names. And Gargamuni says, no, I don't want to go. Because if I go there, it will catch the attention of Kamsa. And Kamsa will know that if Gargamuni is going there, maybe Krishna is still alive. Because there's a very mystical thing happens in the jail when Kamsa tries to kill the 8th child. And so he says, I don't want to go. But then he says, no, it is important. I have 2 sons there. We have to do the name-giving ceremony. So Gargamuni goes there very secretly. Then they take the babies and Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda and Rohini into a barn, like where the cows are there. And that's where the naming ceremony happens. So Lord Balaram is called Balaram because Bala represents strength. And this is not just physical strength we are talking about. Physical strength doesn't really allow us to progress so much in Krishna consciousness. Yes, you may be able to do a lot of service, but that doesn't necessarily mean progress. So Bala means spiritual strength. So he is known as Balabhadra, Balaram. So this Bala means spiritual strength. And as the spiritual master, that's where we get our strength from, right? So Balaram also expands as Shesha, Ananta Shesha. And as you all know, Ananta Shesha actually holds the entire universe on his head. And he has multiple mouths, because he has multiple hoods. And all of these hoods are continuously chanting the names of Krishna, and he never finishes chanting. So you can imagine how much glorification of Krishna Balaram is performing as the universe is continuing to go on. And not only that, this is a very important, I like this concept a lot. I mean, it really explains a lot to us, is he holds all the planets in their designated position. Otherwise, what's going to happen? The planets would be all crashing into one another. So Lord Balaram represents the power of gravity. Okay, this is mentioned in the Krishna book, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and also in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Lord Balaram represents gravity. So you can actually think of Lord Balaram every single day. When something falls from your hand, where does it fall, Vittal? It falls towards the ground because the earth has a gravitational pull. How much is the gravitational pull? Anybody knows? 9.7 something, not 8. Okay, that's approximation. But yes, around 9.8. So that gravitational pull is Lord Balaram. So just remember, by the power of Balaram, by the Bala of Balaram, we can exist on this planet. And we can stay grounded. Otherwise, we'll be floating somewhere, right? So that is the power of Balaram. So that's why his name is Bala. Ram Garga Muni gives him the name Ram because he gives pleasure. So it was a prediction, he makes a prediction, astrological prediction, that Balaram is going to give so much pleasure to everybody, and hence his name is Ram. Rama, as in R-A-M-A. Rama. So that's why his name is Balram, right? And then he has some other names as well. He's called Dauji in Vrindavan as an older brother, and he's also called Sankarshan. So he's called Sankarshan because he's bringing families together. So he's bringing the family of Vasudev and the family of Nanda Maharaj. Nanda Maharaj is a Vaishya and Vasudev is a Kshatriya. So he's bringing the families together. So he's also called as Sankarshan. So these are the different names. And how does Lord Balram look? It is said that he is very, very fair, like a spring, summer cloud, you know, the white clouds that we see. Whereas Krishna is the monsoon cloud, right? So there's a difference. So he's very fair and very tall, always wears blue, and he has two weapons which he always carries. So one of them is a mace or a gada, and the second one is the hal. Okay, that's why sometimes he's also called Haladar. Okay, so he has the plow, and the plow is basically something that plows in the field. So he's plowing in our heart to create an environment which is fertile for Krishna to arrive, right? So these are the representations. There are some pastimes related to the plow. Does anybody except Mukunda know them? Two pastimes related to plow. Yes, Mataji. I can't hear you. Pulling the river. Which river? She's right. Yamuna River. So yes, so once Lord Balaram and his gopis were, playing and doing different things, and they all decide, you know what, we want to go into the river. So he says, yes, let me ask Yamuna. So he calls her, and she doesn't respond. And I've been reading a lot about Balaram, and he gets angry really fast. So all of his pastimes are related to anger. So we have to be very careful when we interact with our spiritual masters, because they're representing Balaram. They can get really mad at you. So he says, okay, she's not coming, that's it. I'm going to put the plow, I'm going to drag the whole river out. And so then she shows up and she begs forgiveness, and she says, please come and use the water of the river. Very good. Second pastime with the plow? No. You, Prabhu. Pardon? Yes? Does he use the hull or use the mace? Hull. Very good. That was not what I was thinking of, but thank you. So Lord Balram got married to Revati, and Revati was super tall. And Balram was also super tall, but she was taller than him. And so her father was worried, who am I going to find for this very tall but very eligible person to marry? And then he finds Balaram, and then he just adjusts her height. That's simple, right? Okay, third pastime. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, but what is it? He becomes angry. Okay, that's correct too. Yes. So, no, wedding of Aniruddha is different. That's when he kills Rukmi. We are not talking about that. But this is the time when Samba kidnaps Lakshmana, who is the daughter of Duryodhana, and they're mad at him because he kidnaps her through the, Swayamvar, and they say, no way we are going to, get her married to him. So Balram gets very angry. He says, if you don't compromise, I'm going to pull Hastinapur with my hull and just drag it down to the ocean. So then they say, okay, that's fine. So then they all kind of meet up, and then they get them married, and then everything's happy after that. So Balram tends to do that with his weapon. So that's his plow. So Balram generally is such a unique personality. He worships, he serves Krishna in all the 5 different types of rasas. So the first one is Shantaras, where he's very quiet. He expands himself as the entire, everything that Krishna requires for his pastime, like Vrindavan, all the lands, all the paraphernalia, all the trees, everything that is required for any pastime of Lord Krishna, including like, musical instruments. This represents Balram as well. Anything that you use to serve Krishna, the microphone, is also a representation of Balram. So that's how he worships Krishna in the Shantaras. Then you have Dasyaras. There's so many stories where he's massaging Krishna's feet and doing menial service for Krishna. So that's also very commonly seen in their pastimes. And he wants to serve Krishna in any which way, like Sam Siddhir Haritoshna, anything for the pleasure of Krishna he will do. Then you have Sakyaras. He's the best friend of Krishna. They grew up together as brothers, but he was the best friend that Krishna had. And he is constantly playing with him. He's teasing him, getting him into trouble, complaining about him to the mothers, that he's eating mud and he's doing different things. He's participating in stealing butter and all kinds of stuff that Krishna does. Balram is always there. And Balram is always with him through all his entire life. In Vrindavan, in Mathura, in Dwarka, in Hastinapur, everywhere that Krishna goes, Balram is with him. Okay, so he's his like best friend. Vatsalya Ras, he's older than Krishna and he does play that role very seriously. Right? He's always taking care of Krishna, making sure all the arrangements are perfect. He's instructing Krishna. He's worried for Krishna. Right? So he does all kinds of very motherly kind of parental duty with Krishna. And then we have Madhurya Ras, which is loving exchanges. Now, Krishna and Balram are both men, boys, so he cannot serve Krishna in the Madhurya Ras. So he expands himself. He expands himself as a younger sister of Srimati Radha, as Srimati Ananga Manjari, and he serves Krishna in Madhurya Ras. So he's worshipping Krishna serving Krishna in all different forms and different kind of moods. So that is how wholesome his service is to Krishna. But that's all just information about Balaram, right? So now is the real stuff, the demons. So while they were growing up in Vrindavan, we know that there were so many demons that Krishna and Balaram killed. It's like every day they were killing someone. This can happen in the material world, right? It's happening, but it should not. But we are killing innocent people, we are not killing the demons. That's what's happening here. But in the spiritual world, innocent people are always protected. And it's the demons that get killed. So we are a very, convoluted reflection of what is happening in the spiritual world, okay? So there were many demons that were killed by Krishna, but there were three specific demons which were killed by Balaram, okay? So the first one is Dhenukasura. Dhenukasura was an ass demon. He was a donkey, he had many colleagues who were also donkeys, right? And they all were living in a place called Talavan. And Tala is a fruit that grows on specific type of trees, and they're very delicious. So what these Dhenukasura and his gang were doing is they had blocked off the entire Talavan so that nobody could come and enjoy the fruits. They were just like falling to the ground and nobody could eat them. And living there, they were serving Kamsa. All of these demons belonged to Kamsa. And they were manufacturing alcohol there for Kamsa, okay? So this was like breaking regulative principles right there. So they were donkeys and they were making alcohol and they didn't allow anybody to come. And so Krishna's friends said that, you know what, Krishna, we need to go there because we haven't eaten these Tala fruits for so long, we should go there. And he says, okay, let's go. And so then they go there and all of these donkeys and Dhenukasura specifically start to attack them. And so Balram is there, and again he gets angry because the Dhenukasura is kicking him with his hind legs, with his forelegs, and all of this is going on. So he just picks up Dhenukasura's hind legs, whirls him around and throws him onto a tree, and he just dies. So Dhenukasura is killed specifically by Balaram. And what does Dhenukasura represent? Every demon in Krishna's pastime represents something that we want to get rid of. So Dhenukasura is representing materialistic pride. and lack of discrimination of what one should do and one should not be doing. And he had too much material attachment and intelligence. And some of us do experience that. Sometimes when you have a lot of material intelligence, it actually takes you away from the path that you would want to be on. Because you are so clever, some people are so clever and they're so successful, that it almost takes you away from the path of spirituality. So materialistic intelligence can become a burden, right? And so all of this leads to, what does it lead to? It leads to the lack of self-identity. You forget that you're a spirit soul and not the body, right? So a lot of materialistic intelligence can do that to you, because you start identifying with your role as a doctor or as a whatever it is so strongly that you forget that this is just the body. This is just for this lifetime. And there's a higher principle that we need to constantly be aware of. So Dhenukasura represents that, and that quality can only be removed by the Guru. And hence this demon is killed by Balaram. Because Krishna has given us free will. He will never make you choose him. It is our choice to decide, to understand that we are the spirit soul and we are a fragment of Krishna's energy. So this demon is only killed by Balaram. It cannot be killed, he cannot be killed by Krishna, because Krishna has given us free will. So it's important to understand what Dhenukasura represents. Few days later, they are playing in a place called Bandira 1. Okay, and there's a very interesting game going on. There are two teams, Krishna's team and Balaram's team. And they're playing, and whoever loses has to carry the loser on their back and walk around in the forest. So there are these two teams happening. So one Gopa means friends, Krishna's friend, doesn't show up that day. And so this Pralambasura is actually wanting to kill Krishna. So he says, here is my chance. So he dresses up as the Gopa who is missing and becomes part of Krishna's team. Imagine, you're part of Krishna's team and you're wanting to kill Balaram and Krishna. And then Pralambasura thinks, you know what? Balaram is very powerful. So I have to first take him down. Once Balaram is out of the way, then I can chase Krishna. So that's why he joins Krishna's team. And Krishna's team loses, which means they have to carry Balaram's team on their neck, on their shoulders. So Pralambasura volunteers to get Balaram on his shoulders, and he just starts running. As soon as Balaram sits on his shoulders, he starts to run away from the crowd. And Balaram is thinking, like, where is he taking me? Like, we are playing in Bandira 1, and this Gopa is like running away somewhere. And then he realizes that, of course, Balaram is also the Supreme Personality, so he knows what's happening. And then he realized that this is a demon. But he said, how can I kill him? He's Krishna's teammate. Anybody who is associated with Krishna, I cannot kill. So he starts to expand his weight, similar to the Trinavarta story, where there are many science students here. You cannot increase your density without increasing volume. You can't, up to a certain extent, because it's an inversely proportional ratio. And is it inversely or directly proportional? Volume and density? Yeah, exactly. So his mass is not increasing. His volume is still the same, but the density is increasing. And then Pralambasura is thinking, what is going on? I still have a boy sitting on my shoulder, but I can't take the weight. And generally the demons, when they are put under extreme physical stress, and if they're dressed as someone else, they lose their power and they manifest in their original form. So because of extreme physical stress of carrying this super dense personality on his shoulder, he assumes his original form, which is very hideous. You can see the pictures in the Krishna book later. And then Balaram then realizes this is it, and then he just hits him on the head. And every time Balaram hits someone, their head explodes and there's a lot of blood in all the stories, okay? So he kills Pralambasura. So what does Pralambasura represent, and why is it that this demon is killed by Balaram. So Pralambasura represents subtle desire for the opposite sex. He represents pride, position, and power. And these are again enemies of the mind, right? The arrogance that comes from power, cheating propensity. He was cheating Krishna and Balram, like playing with them in their presence, cheating. And the cunningness of what he was trying to do. So these are again the qualities which prevent Krishna from coming into our life. And so Balram kills this demon. The third demon that I wanted, there are many other people he kills, but I'm just talking about the demons. Okay? So like the story he was telling us about killing Rukmi in Aniruddha's wedding. There was this one monkey, gorilla actually, called Dvivida. And we know that this Dvivida gorilla was actually one of the majors of Sugriv, along with Mainda and other people. And he served Lord Ram when Lord Ram was here in Treta Yuga, right? And so this Dvivida actually performs a lot of service during the war and the time when they were like fighting Ravana. So he's actually a very elevated person. But he's envious of Lakshman. And he disrespects Lakshman. Okay, and this is in Treta Yuga. And Lakshman is not different than Balaram. Lakshman also represents Balaram. And so this sticks with him, where he has disrespected Lakshman, and over time he becomes very demoniac, right? Just because of this being jealous of Lakshman, being spiteful of Lakshman's position, right? And so then he also has other friends, Narkasura. Narkasura, you know the story of Narkasura, where Krishna kills Narkasura and rescues these 16,000 princesses and then gets married to them. So he's also angry with Krishna because he's killed many of his friends. So he decides, okay, let me go and see what happens. So one day, Lord Balaram and the gopis are, playing and doing stuff. And he comes there and starts to act funny, He starts to pass stool and urine, and he's a very powerful monkey, very, very powerful. And then he starts to make funny faces. He starts to show them their teeth. You know how the monkeys are, like they're very offensive. And he starts to do all kinds of, he also pulls the clothes of the gopis who are with Lord Balaram. And then he starts to expose his body to the gopis, and then Balram loses it again. He says, this is too much, this is inappropriate behavior. And so he throws rocks at Dvivida, and then there's a big fight where they're pulling out, trees and throwing at one another. And then finally, Balram ends up killing Dvivida. So Dvivida represents, disrespect to Guru. It's a very, very dangerous situation to be in, to be disrespectful to Guru Tattva, right? So Dvivida represents that quality where you're envious of spiritual masters, envious of spiritual authorities, and that can be very detrimental to your progress in spiritual life. So this is another very key demon. I want to tell you another story. Anybody wants to hear another story? So Lord Balram was, like I said, he was always, there was something that he didn't like, then he would walk away. So when the war in Hastinapur is about to happen, he's not in favor of the war. He says, I don't think this should be happening. But you know the circumstances under which the war is being fought. And he says, okay, I want to do nothing with it, I'm leaving. So he leaves Hastinapur and he goes on a pilgrimage for a long time and visits many different places, and there are many different pastimes. One specific pastime is he walks into Naimisharanya. This is a forest, Naimisharanya. It is still there. People can visit Naimisharanya. And in Naimisharanya, you may have heard, is a place where a lot of Brahmanas, teachers, spiritual authorities, they meet there to discuss important matters related to spirituality and it's a very huge assembly. And in that assembly, there is one of their leaders. His name is? What? Romaharshan Sutta. Okay? So he's sitting on the assembly and expounding, theological purports, and it's a very serious assembly. And Lord Balram walks in, and all of the present, sages and people there get up and offer, their obeisances, because Balram is not different than Krishna. And so they offer him all the, respect. They give him a special seat and he sits down. But Romaharshan Sutta doesn't get up because he's sitting on the Vyasasana. So technically, the rule is that if you're sitting on the Vyasasana, you don't necessarily have to get up to welcome somebody in the assembly. However, this is a Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, Romaharshan Sutta has a very unique story because he's born to a set of parents. His father is Kshatriya and mother is Brahmana. Okay, so it's a mixed kind of family. And so Balram says, this person is sitting in a Brahmanical position, giving, lectures and, all kinds of philosophical truths, but he hasn't understood the higher principle. Is that when the Supreme Personality walks in, you have to, nothing is more superior to the Supreme Personality. No truth is higher than the Supreme Personality of God. So he gets very angry. And so what does he do? He sees a little straw of blade of grass. He picks it and just throws it at Romaharshan Sutta, and that kills him. Okay? So he says, this person did not understand the truth. You may read scriptures, you may read books, you may hear lectures, but if you don't understand the ultimate truth, which is, I'm not this body, I'm the spirit soul, I'm part of Krishna, and Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is so simple, right? You put it in one sentence. But the assembly is devastated. They said, oh my God, Balram, what did you do? This was a person who was sitting on the Vyasasana giving us classes. He was a very learned person, and now you killed him. And then Balram by that time has lost some of his, anger, and he says, okay, let's bring him back to life again. And I said, no, you can't do that, because then that is contradictory, because you just killed him and now you can't bring him back to, life. So what are we going to do now? So then there's a lot of confusion. I'm paraphrasing, obviously. But there is a lot of confusion. And he says, okay, let's install his son as the next authority, and then he can sit on the Vyasasana, and then business can continue as usual. They said, sure, we'll do that, but we have a condition. There is another demon who has been disturbing the sages and who has been creating havoc in their sacrifices. And for some reason, demons like to pass stool and urine wherever there is havan going on. So this is something very demoniac. And so you have to go, isn't it funny, Vittal? And this is given in the scriptures, I'm not making it up. And so he says, okay, I'll go and kill that demon for you. And then so he goes, and the name of this demon is Balvala. So he goes there, kills Balvala, and then he's kind of released of his bad deed of killing Romaharshan Sutta. So there are many unique pastimes of Balaram that kind of bring to the foreground how we are riddled with bad qualities and why we need to have guidance, mentorship, or a spiritual master. There are different types of gurus. You can have a Shiksha guru. No, I'm not necessarily talking about Diksha guru. So that you need a guru, you need guidance. Even in your material life, you need guidance. You have coaches, life coaches. What is that? They're coaching you through your emotional crisis. So we're talking about spiritual guidance here. So Balram represents this strong spiritual force which helps us to overcome all these material qualities which prevent a spiritual progress. Hare Krishna. Is that good timing, Anjaneya? Yeah? Yeah? If anybody has any questions that I can answer, I'll be happy to do so. One question. Otherwise, I can ask a question. You have answers? Yes, Prabhuji. I can't hear you. Wait. Let's wait.
Thank you, Mataji, for nice class. One question is, you mentioned that those 6 brothers of Krishna, they appeared before Balram.
Yes.
They represent 6 anarthas in our heart. So technically, before Guru appears, these anarthas needs to be destroyed?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And then is that how come the Kansa becomes instrumental in removing those anarthas? Because Kansa killed them.
That was just how it happened. Like Kamsa was killing the babies, and they represented these anarthas. And so after the 6 babies, then Balrama appears. So Kamsa also has a long history. There's a lot of backstory in his Kalanemi in his previous life, and there's like a lot of background. He's not necessarily like a super demoniac person. It's just how the story plays out. He is actually evil in the sense that he wants power over, like he imprisons his own, father and so on and so forth. So it hasn't been explained why Kamsa kills these 6 babies, but it's said that these 6 sons are represented by the enemies of the mind, who are also considered to be the sons of Marichi. So that's how it's been explained.
So before Guru comes or after Guru comes, these anarthas go, or before they have
Well,
to go?
don't we wish that they go, but they don't, because it's a lifetime of managing anarthas, actually multiple lifetimes. But by the evidence of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, we can understand that these qualities exist in us, and we can only try to remove them. And then that is why we have sadhana bhakti. We have a regulated way that we like to live. We are expected to live the chanting, following the 4 regulative principles, attending programs, doing a little bit of service. So this is sadhana bhakti. We are far away from getting to a place where there are no anarthas, and we are only practicing pure devotional service like the Goswamis of Vrindavan, right? So we are still very much, at least I know I am still in very much the phase of sadhana bhakti. So this is continuously happening in the presence of different types of gurus, your Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, your peers, there are so many different ways where we can keep the check. But the mind is very powerful. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna says, Krishna, I can control the wind, but I cannot control the mind. So if Arjuna is saying he cannot control the mind, what about us? I'm sitting here and I'm already thinking about India. You know what I'm saying? Like this, the mind is very difficult to control. So even despite of very strong presence, our mind can take us away. So we have to be constantly aware that the mind can take us to a dungeon again. So the Guru helps, but ultimately it's our effort which is more important as well.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah.
Thank you to Satyabha Maji. Can we give a big round of applause to appreciate her for giving an educative and sharing some educative class, and also sharing some pastimes of Lord Balram. So once again, as I mentioned earlier, today is obviously the appearance of Balram. Next week is going to be the appearance day of Sri Krishna Janmashtami celebrations. So it's going to be next Saturday, which is August the 16th. And we will be having a special Sunday feast on August 17th. It's going to be an extended program. And we expect a lot of devotees to visit the temple during these 2 days. And particularly this time it's a weekend. So all the more we expect over 20,000 devotees to come over this weekend, and maybe just on Saturday itself. So last year it was on a Monday, and we had a little over 18,000 devotees visit the temple. So would like to let you all know that on Saturday, the temple will only be open for darshan. So which means we will not be having an opportunity to sit down like this, hear a class, or participate in kirtan. So right from afternoon at 12 p.m. on Saturday, which is August 16th, we're going to have a lot of stanchions in this temple hall to direct the crowd. This is the only way we can accommodate the kind of numbers that we're expecting. Yes, Mataji?
You can come for the morning program.
Yes. So if for those of you who would like to spend more time at the temple, we highly encourage and recommend you to come for the morning program if you can. The Mangalarti is at 4:30 a.m. It's an annual occasion where we have Mangalarti almost like the Sunday feast. So everyone is welcome to attend for the morning Mangalarti program at 4:30 a.m. And if possible, please bring your friends during the daytime instead of evening. So after 6 p.m. we expect a lot of crowd. And it's always been a challenge to manage the kind of volume of visitors that we receive. So we'll share more updates this weekend, but this is essentially the plan for the Janmashtami celebrations on Saturday. And on Sunday, we will have the Prabhupada festival in the afternoon, which will be at around 12 p.m. in the afternoon, starting at 11-ish. But we'll share more details on Sunday about the Prabhupada festival. And the Sunday feast is going to be an extended program. But on Saturday, we will be having kirtan through the day. There will be devotees, singing for the pleasure of the Lordship, but it'll only be for darshan. So you can come, bring some offering, if you like, for the deities, and you will be asked to keep moving to let everyone get a chance for darshan. So that's the plan, and we do require some help during the week. If any of you are interested to help pre-package some prasadam or maybe help with setting up the temple hall on Friday and Saturday, please do come by the front desk. We have a volunteer group. You can scan with your phone and be added to the group. And if you like, you can help out as much as you can. And there's also going to be a special donor abhishek on the Sunday, that's the next Sunday feast. And it's for a donation of $351. So if any of you would like to participate with your family for this abhishek, please do come by the front desk to learn more about how you can participate. And for today, we actually have a special honey from Gear Farm. So some of you might be aware, Gear Farm is a devotee-run farm by Vishal Prabhu's family. So if you like to offer a small bottle of honey for Sri Balramji, you can purchase one. It's only for $10. It's available in the front desk. This is in case you're interested to get something for the deities. And we also have a beautiful setup here of Sri Balramji. In case you missed it, please do come by to take darshan of Sri Balramji. And we will have the Aarti at 8 p.m. Before that, couple of quick other announcements. Would like to remind everyone about the upcoming virtual KFS Kids Fun School virtual summer camp. It's going to be happening next week, starting from Monday. And there is a poster outside. If you are interested, please do check out the details. It's for $50 for 5 days, and siblings from the same family can attend for free. We'd also like to let you know about upcoming men's retreat. So this is the 8th annual Mantra retreat, organized by our very own His Holiness Bhakti Marg Swami and few other devotees. It's scheduled to happen on September 19th to September 21st. And this is, again, a retreat exclusively for men, happening at West Virginia, New Vrindavan Dham. And if you'd like to learn more or participate, please do speak to Raj Prabhu. He's in the front desk, and he'll be happy to share more information. There's also a website called mantra.org, MAN-TRA.org. So that's the website to gather more information. And today we would actually like to give a special shout out to a lot of volunteers who spontaneously came to help in putting up the prasad together, because our designated team due to some last minute emergency, they couldn't make it. So can we give a big round of applause to these volunteers who just spontaneously came by to help out? And today's cook, as you all know, it's Friday, but it's still a weekday. We had Sucharu Padma Mataji, Sachi Mata, and Patit Pavan Nitai Ram Prabhu and their families. So can we give a big round of applause to all of them as well? So thank you, Prabhus. Please ensure that the plates are disposed in the appropriate area. We're just still setting up the garbage area, so please have some patience. The Prashadam team is ready, so we will serve out Prashadam. And the deity doors will open again at 8 p.m. for the Shine Arati. And Shine Arati will be led by Radha Mohan Prabhu today. So Shri Shri Balram Ji ki, upcoming Janmashtami celebrations ki. Thank you all so much. Hare Krishna.